Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. We have a new Deadlock patch. This is a hot fix. This is a post by Yoshi himself. We're going to go through all the changes that are here to balance the current state of Deadlock. We're going to start at the top. Getting damage during the initial launch window after using a jump pad will cause you to be stunned, similar to ziplines having an initial knockoff period. When you're stunned, you will lose control and continue towards the landing destination. Okay, so this is like a counter to like being able to just run away off jump pads really easily. Very interested to see exactly how that plays out. But I do think that sometimes it's too easy to just run away. Mystic Shot base damage reduced, Spirit Scale increased. This makes a lot of sense because it's been very common to just buy this as one of the first items. So this way, it kind of has the same amount of power throughout the game, but less so like a super early item. So that makes sense because I don't think it's their intention that you're gonna rush every like 1600 item in the lane. So Mystic Shot is just overall a good item. So this makes sense. Warp Stone bullet resist reduction, that makes sense. Capacitor nerfed also makes sense. This item has been very, very popular after they added fire rate on it. And especially also, there's a bunch of Haze, Infernus, Bebop builds that use capacitor. It removes Viscous Cube and a lot of other buffs too. And especially with the shield meta as well, it also removes shields. So giving it a bigger cooldown makes sense. And I think that's like kind of the thing overall here. It's like Guardian Ward as well. Gets an increased cooldown. Reactive Barrier. Spirit Shielding. This is basically the same treatment as Mystic Shot is getting. It's slightly worse in the laning stage. But the scaling is better. So yeah, this is something they do overall. Whenever items get overbought in the beginning, they change it so they scale better, but they have lower static values. So that makes sense. Fortitude slight buff, that makes sense. It's not really been purchased a lot. Veil Walker has been the kind of meta item for a while. Trophy Collector. So for those of you who don't know, I am a trophy collector enjoyer, and I don't care if the item isn't great because it's so fun to get a kill and then it goes ding, ding, ding. So we're definitely gonna be I mean, I was already buying Trophy Collector on Paradox and sometimes Bebop. I will definitely be doing that still. Majestic Leap nerf. Yeah, these are all cooldown nerfs. Silence Wave cooldown nerf. Spirit Snatch duration reduction. Bonus damage reduction. This item has always been very overtuned. So this is very understandable. Like, it's so strong. This has been the biggest problem with this patch, not only specifically for Victor, but ESHIFT's cooldown in general with trans cooldown was only 14 seconds. And because it has a 4-second duration, it technically meant that it only had a 10 seconds where you were vulnerable to damage. This is gigantic nerf because it's going to be like 3 times longer vulnerability time between each ESHIFT cast, which is great because this was way too good. Can no longer target an ethereal shifted ally with things like Rescue Beam, Viscous Cube. That's good. Curse cooldown reduced. Interesting. I mean, this item hasn't really been bought that much lately, so that makes sense. Calico nerfs. Gloom Bomb cooldown increased base damage. Honestly, I've had a pretty big issue with laning against Calico in this patch, so I don't know if anyone else... leave a comment down below if you've had the same experience, but she's definitely been on the stronger end, especially early. But yeah, the biggest change so far is definitely the E-Shift. You could buy trans cooldown and E-Shift, and it would be so hard to kill you, especially on Victor, because his aura keeps running, and he keeps healing with both Dormant Pulse and aura while being immune to damage. So this is going to make the game feel a lot smoother to play for sure. Definitely hurts Victor more than most other heroes though. Dorman, bullet damage growth per boon reduced, headshot damage multiplier reduced. Yeah, there's been a lot of gun Dorman builds recently, and I don't think that's necessarily the intention. That hero is just like buying every weapon item in the game, so I think this makes sense. Drifter, isolated kill bonus reduced, base bullet damage increase, bullet damage growth. Okay, so I think this is one of those like changes to try to make the hero slightly less feast or famine. I think that Drifter was probably a little bit too reliant on the stacks, so this is like a way of slightly battling that. So I like that. Quantum fire rate increased, okay. Bullet damage growth per boon reduced by quite a bit. Flame dash reduced even more after oh my goodness, okay. Infernus. Flame Dash was already nerfed in the previous patch too. Interesting. Calvin's base regen reduction. Headshot reduction. Okay, they still don't want gun Kelvin to be a thing. Frozen shelter cooldown increased. Okay. This is also like, in general, a lot of abilities and items have gotten bigger cooldowns here. So I think that's a good approach. McGinnis now has a 1 second linger time on a heal. Okay, that's a nice little quality of life change that you can like move slightly out of the circle and you still get healed. Paradox nerfed. I still think that Paradox ult is a way too low cooldown, but sure. 75 is at least something. 7 lightning ball spirit scale increased. Nobody really plays ball 7, so I guess I understand that. Most people play 3 into 4 or like support double stat, but yeah. Shiv alt fire knockback reduced. This is probably also because there's a like this wall jump trick where you right click and then you kind of just fly around. Victor pain batter tier 1 and tier 2 swapped. Okay. Reduced aura damage. So Victor is quite a lot worse, I'd say, because you would always want to buy ESHIFT on him. They removed where like the aura is reduced by spirit resistance. So Victor definitely took quite a hit from this patch, but I don't think anyone's mad about that except Victor players. Screwjab dagger spirit scaling. I still haven't tried Viper after the big changes to Screwjab dagger. I kind of have to try that. But yeah, base bullet damage increased on Warden and binding word range increased. Interesting. Okay. Okay. So to summarize, overall, the patch is trying to knock down low cooldowns on items specifically. The only item that got a shorter cooldown was Curse, but that already has a pretty long cooldown. E-Shift, like I played a game earlier today where there was like 4 players with E-Shift and you just have to buy Curse to kill them. And I don't think that like, as much as like some items are really good in a certain game, I don't think that it's the best item design if like 4 or 5 heroes on the same team almost buy the same items. Like we want to have more build diversity. We want to have more item diversity depending on the playstyle and stuff. Like I don't think it's ideal if it's just like one item that everybody just has to buy, which is what E-Shift has kind of felt like this patch. So I do think that like the biggest issue right now has been E-Shift plus Victor. So a big nerf to E-Shift and a small nerf to Victor, I think goes a long way with fixing those things. Victor still has this thing where he can just debuff remove with his 2. But because his debuff removal is an ability, you can actually buy Silence Wave and Focus Lens to deal with it. Or even Crippling Headshot just because you can constantly reapply it. So yeah, overall, I think these are good changes to make the meta a little bit more stable. Like right now, I did feel a little bit like if a Victor got ahead, then there was just nothing to do. He could literally just like pop E-Shift and kill the patron with his aura. So I think I'm very curious to see how this jump pad stun thing will work. If that needs any more tuning, but overall pretty happy with this change. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, but I think the game is like moving towards a more balanced state. I do stream on Twitch every single day, by the way, pretty much. I will be for at least a month from now. So if you guys have any questions about Deadlock or need access in general, just hop by my chat, have a conversation or two, and if not, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.